So, although colloidal silver is discouraged by mainstream medicine, you will find hospitals lining Foley catheters, IV lines and breathing tubes with silver. Silver sulfidizine is used widely in burn units. Hospitals use silver filters to kill off MRSA infections. The World Health Organization uses silver in water filters to disinfect water in developing countries. Why? It is antibacterial, antiviral, antifungal. And you can get yourselves a colloidal silver generator. If you know, there's someone I know that makes them. If you want one, I'm not sure the price, but if you let me know, I'll see what I can do. The killing of unarmed Palestinians demonstrated by Israel forces is a war crime funded by the United Nations. Help! I was going to ask you the same. Meanwhile, in Israel, $3.2 trillion given away. No matter how many people shave their heads or run for the cure or cycle all over the place, as long as the medical mafia is in control, the cancer war will never be won. Colloidal silver, nature's antibiotic. Potent germicide, kills over 650 pathogens. Like a second immune system, heals burn wounds, fights bacteria and viruses. Natural preservative. How Donald Trump plays 4D chess. Bibi, what shall I do for you next, my master? More money. What's 38 billion between friends? Besides, it's the proletariat's money, not mine. Laws against criticising Israel, no problem. Bill of Rights, freedom of speech and protest, who cares? War against Iran, spending more trillions in another fake war for greater Israel. You get it? And you'll make sure the lobby is lined up to back me next election, right? It's pretty much how it's done. Theresa May brings country together in shared hatred of her leadership. Britain may be divided over Brexit, but Theresa May has brought the country together at long last, except they all seem united in opposition to the Prime Monster herself. Thousands of Twitter users have been venting their frustration on the hashtag not on my side after her speech last night when she told voters, I am on your side. But the declaration appears to have fallen on deaf ears as leading figures on both the Remain and Leave sides opposed her statement. Pro-Brexit radio boost Julia Hartley Brewer, she's not on my side, hashtag, I voted for Brexit, while anti-Brexit campaigners Femi Ulwood called it almost laughable. France just became the first country to ban all 5 pesticides linked to bee deaths. France has now set the benchmark in the global effort to save the bees and prevent an ecological Armageddon. The country banned all 5 neonicotinoid pesticides that reaches and blaming for collapsing bee populations. The move follows the European Union's ban on the 3 worst offenders, clothidane, imidacloprid and thimerthoaxam in crop fields starting last month. France has banned these 3 along with thiacloprid and acetamiprid, and if you can't say the words, they shouldn't be used on your food. Not only outdoors but in greenhouses too. Studies have shown that non-insecticides cut bees' sperm count and scramble their memory and hormone skills. The latest research suggests bees can develop a dangerous addiction to the insecticides, much like smokers for nicotine. The ban is celebrated by beekeepers and the environmentalists, but cereal and sugar beet farmers warn it could have the defenseless in protecting their crops against harmful insects. That's not true, because if you grow other certain species of crops alongside with your main crop, it keeps insects away. Introduced in the mid-1990s, synthetic neoinsectoids share the chemical structure of nicotine and attack the central nervous system of insects. The United Nations warned last year that 40% of pollinators, particularly bees and butterflies, risk global extinction. And that would be the plan. David Bowie's last online post, Google is Illuminati. David Bowie was a regular contributor on Bowie.com, the forum at his official website, and his final message, written weeks before he died, contained a prophetic warning about the future of humanity in a world of information controlled by Google. Describing the future of our society, if it's controlled by Google, as a fascist dystopia, Bowie warned that the internet search engine has been infiltrated by the elite in an attempt to enslave humanity. Google's motto is BS. They are destroying the most glorious gift humanity was granted in the last 300 years. Google is Illuminati. Illuminati is Google. The future under Google is a fascist dystopia. Their way or the highway, no room for dissidents, no room for free speech. Google is a boot stamping on your face for eternity, sailor. Another message from Bowie, written in the same forum thread, read, Google or deep state, forget about conventional walls, forget about spies, forget about intelligence agencies, forget about all that. It's all about the internet, and Google run the internet. They decide who you feel, how you feel, what you think, what information you can and can't look at, and ultimately who does and doesn't have a voice, sailor. Bowie wrote on the forum at Bowie.com, periodically updating fans on what was happening in his life, shooting down poorly sourced rumours, and particularly participating in general discussion about topics of interest. He signed off his post as sailor and wasn't averse to speaking his mind. There is growing evidence that eating fat won't make you fat, but sugar will. In the World Cup of Food Wars, sugar and fat are the playoff teams. Emerging science suggests that when eaten on its own, fat does not contribute to weight gain. Sugar, however, does. Increasingly alarming by the sugar in our diet, scientists recommend cutting back and instead bringing back foods like creamy avocados and buttery salmon. You know, it makes intuitive sense that rich foods like creamy avocados or butter-drenched salmon would contribute to weight gain. Similarly, attacking upon the sweet treat like sugary cereals and carb-heavy bagels can't be too great for your waistline either. But scientists are increasingly examining what happens inside our bodies, when they regularly indulge in amounts of either sugar or fat on their own. In many parts of the world, the two ingredients are really eaten alone. Take donuts as an example. When the fresh carb laden deep fried in oil, you get a classic combination of sugar and fat. London street preacher charged under amended police nuisance laws bylaw. Two men notorious for preaching on London streets are calling out women for their appearance have been charged under the city's recent amended public nuisance bylaw. The city has received more than 75 complaints about street preachers Stephen Ravbar and Matthew Carpella in 2019 alone. The men are known for calling out passers-by, women in particular, for everything from their choice of clothes to their hairstyle. But more worrying than that, it's still free speech. And the first thing a dictatorship has to do is get rid of free speech. And that's what they're doing here. Italy. African school bus attacker, Unrepentant, would do it 100 times. Senegalese background Osino Sai, who attempted to light 51 Italian school children on fire this week, says he felt no remorse and would do the act again 100 times over. The bus driver, who handcuffed the children, poured liquid over the seats of the bus and tried to set them on fire in revenge for migrant downings in the Mediterranean, which are actually declining. Told Italian magistrates that he would not apologise for the act in Girona. EU meltdown. Anti-EU parties' victory in Dutch elections sends shockwaves to the Brussels wankers. The EU establishments have been plunged into yet another crisis after the shock victory for an anti-EU Dutch party in crunch elections this week. A populist Eurosceptic party has stunned the political establishment in the Netherlands and sent shockwaves across the European Union after a stunning election victory. The Forum for Democracy, FVD, which campaigns for Dutch exit from the EU, won the most votes in elections for the upper house of Parliament earlier this week. This has plunged the country and EU leadership into crisis, just as Brussels struggles with more deadlock over Brexit. Everyone can see that the EU is an utter dictatorship, and, well, everyone needs to be out. The EU and everyone that's been in charge of that needs to go to jail. Cheney, Rothschild, Murdoch and co. start drilling for oil in Syria. But it's about the false flags, isn't it? Yeah. AFEC, oil and gas are hoping to soon find out what goodies lie beneath the occupied part of Syria known as the Golan Heights and violate international law in the process. In May, having finished the flow testing phase, they announced the beginning of the analysis phase for the Nest 2 drilling site. The task is to identify contents of the ground wells and what products might come from it. A task AFEC said will be carried out by their own scientists as well as external institutional experts. So basically all this shit you've ever heard about Syria is to get after the oil. That's all it's ever been about. That's all this sort of shit ever is about. Oh, and drugs, of course. Gold, oil and drugs, that's what it's about. Hundreds of Scottish police on standby for Brexit fallout. Plan includes 306 extra officers ready to step in if civil unrest or logistical issues arrive. Police in Scotland will be ready to respond to any emergencies during an unprecedented set of circumstances after Brexit, a senior officer has said. Freemason. With hundreds of officers ready to step in should protests or logistic issues arise. Assistant Chief Constable Steve Johnson, Freemason, Police Scotland's EU Exit Tactical Commander, said the force would be prepared to handle a range of potential challenges presented within the coming months. It includes having 360 officers on standby to cover unforeseen eventualities. Johnson, the Freemason, who met the Scottish Justice Secretary Hamza Yazef, said preparations would extend to any delays at ports as well as possible political protests. So they're all gearing up because they know we're not leaving and they're ready for us if we do start saying, hey, but we voted to leave. Not going to happen. Where is the DUP's 1 billion bung? Our schools and hospitals are broke. With Stormont closed, Northern Ireland deserves better from Westminster politicians obsessed by the backstop. There have been a number of instances over the past 3 years where we have witnessed lows in our democratic and deliberative process. The confidence and supply agreement between the government and the Democratic Unionist Party is just one of many. In return for an eye-watering £1 billion, Theresa May was guaranteed just 10 extra votes. No doubt the Prime Minister expected back in 2017 that future Brexit votes would be a lot tighter than the large parliamentary defeats we have seen. Warning. Proven fact. chemo is in potato chips. Next time you see a pack of Lay's potato chips in the USA or around Europe, have a look at the list of ingredients. If you see a word asparaginase, you may well wonder what that is. This innocent sounding ingredient is far from asparaginase. It's deadly. It is a chemotherapy drug used to treat acute lymphoblastic leukemia. Wait, what? Why is chemo in potato chips? Well, if I guess we all know that chips are bad. We know that the white potato is genetically modified and that the oil is bad, right? But did you know that they all also contain a dangerous, deadly drug called asparaginase? One of which is made from a type of bacteria called Escherichia coli. Yes, the same E. coli that is bad for you. Another form of asparaginase is made from Erwina chrysanthemi bacteria. Part of the population plan, they're trying to poison us every way they can. Mirror. A million march as May faces marching orders. Mel, the night I slept with Jerry. Speedboat killer, I'll go back to UK. Jack Steve Shepherd says he's ready to be extradited so he can serve sentence in Britain jail. The People. Million march for EU. Trolls target footy pedo victim. Cops probe teens fresh hell. Mel B. I slept with Jerry. Great. Express. ISIS. End of evil empire. Oh, the British government's closing it down, is it? Britain marches towards elections disaster. Number 10 fears being forced into calling decisive vote as cabinet rounds on May. Mel B. My spicy night with Jerry. The Observer. 1 million join march against Brexit as Tories plan to oust May. Organisers hail UK's biggest ever demo. I think the anti-Iraq war was bigger, actually. Watson Leeds calls for fresh referendum. Oh, another referendum! You haven't even carried the first one out, you piece of shit. The marchers have made their voices heard. They must be heeded. Observer comment. Anything but independent. Now give us the final say. With MPs deadlocked and time running out, a million tell May to let the people decide. No, they say leave means leave, and if we're not leaving, that's treason. You need to go to jail. The Sunday tell lie graph. Cabinet told to oust May. Caliphate crushed at last, but warning ISIL could rise again as soon as the government give them some more money, of course. No need to stockpile medicine for no deal, Royal College admits. So they've been lying again, huh? Of course they wasn't. Never a meal. Scrap HS2 and spend cash on roads, says ex-Treasury Chief. The fail. Cabinet coup. PM told she must go. Ministers plot to install Michael Gove in number 10 to save Brexit. Yeah, right. The Sunday Times. Cabinet coup to ditch May for emergency PM. She has gone haywire, say ministers. Deputy lined up to take over. Revealed. ISIS plan for attack in Europe as caliphate fail. Loose seats and Corbyn calendar. MPs expose hit and new high. Well, as usual, nothing in the shit sheets. Don't waste your money. Go and have a beer in the pub instead, or some vegetables or anything, but wasting money on the shit sheets.